first was little news. Josh Freeman, he used to be the president of City Council, was on the KWA, the Karagandhi Water Authority Board, decided that he was going to resign effective December 31st, which was okay by most people because they didn't like him, but also he has been very disparaging of our mayor at every single City Council meeting. Just awful, saying that she shouldn't give citizens hope and that the the declaration of emergency is not important because it's not a real fix, although that's the door to the real fix. So that was the little news. We're like, oh, okay, who cares? No big deal. Then after that, we saw that Dan Wyant, who heads up the water division of the MDEQ, decides to resign with an apology from Governor Snyder, which was interesting because that's the first apology we've received from anybody on the state level. Following that awesome chunk of news, Brad Werfel resigned. It was almost too much to handle. He is the spokesman for the MDEQ, who we absolutely despise, I guess, to be honest, because he said the worst things. He said bad things about us as citizens. We had to sit through a meeting with him and not choke him, as he laughed at our photos and our descriptions of what it's like to live in Flint with the water back in August, before we even had all the lead data. He just chuckled, and then he's the one that said that, you know, Professor Edwards and his team they pull rabbits out of hats, they go looking for lead, saying that Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha actually just spliced and diced data, and he's also the one that told us all to relax. There was no problem with the lead. So he's gone. So great news. Celebrating. It was awesome.
So what did you think about the news, LeeAnne?
I think it was long overdue. I mean, we're not there yet. Steve Bush needs to go. Mike Prisby needs to go. Once we get there,
who are these guys?
Steve Bush is the director of MDEQ, and Mike Prisby is the engineer for the city of Flint. And that's why they both need to not be working there anymore.
What were their roles in the crisis here?
Well, Mike Prisby is the one that called me stupid at the Dome meeting back in January, saying that my water did not look like what I was presenting at the meeting, and that I didn't know what I was talking about. And Steve Bush was one of the gentlemen that was in the meeting we were in Lansing in August, who was dismissing us, and one of the people who said that the city of Flint was the one who decided not to use my lead tests, even though it was the MDEQ's decision to not use the lead tests. And that, what the general auditor found for that really kind of irks me, because they're saying that the reason why they didn't use those tests is legitimate, and that's a false statement, because I did exactly what the city of Flint told me to do when I did those tests.
Yeah.
And that was to disconnect your water filter.
Yes. And regardless if it was disconnected or connected, it was not to pull out anything besides aesthetics. So it doesn't count on the list of filters that you cannot use when you're testing for these kind of tests, per what I was told by the EPA.
And take that out, even with her filter. I mean, it was 104 and 397. That's a problem. That test should have stayed in. With a filter, it was that high. So I could never understand that.
Not just that, I was the only person at that point for that round of tests that had a certified lead test, or lead line. I was the only person that could say that I have a lead line, because it was done by the EPA when they pulled the pipes out of the ground.